Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rifgal. We're doing something new. Although those of you who have been watching a lot of my other videos will probably immediately know why this is something that's on my radar. So Eric suggested this one to me. Dead Cells is a roguelike Metroidvania game. I was really hesitant about this because I was like, how do you make a roguelike Metroidvania? The whole point of a Metroidvania is how you have to, be able to backtrack, be able to do all this stuff, be able to, move in and out of different areas once you get the powers. So, the way it works, by the way, I'm explaining all this now because once I actually start playing, the beginning of it's going to move really fast. Part of that is because the game itself is very fast-paced, and also because there is a time trial element to it, where you get rewards if you beat the first stages quickly. So I would like to do that, which may mean that I don't have time to actually get into the explanation. So yeah, the way it's going to work, the powers... in order to beat the game, you have to go through 6 stages. You can do that right from the beginning if you're really good. I don't think I'm going to. As you go, much like in Hades and some of the other games we've played, you unlock additional content. You unlock more powers, more weapons, more goodies. The other thing is, depending on which stages you go through, you get more power-ups. And there are 4 movement power-ups that give you access to other areas of the game. However, you can't get to more than one of the required stages in a single run. You have to die, carry that power over, and then take a different route from the beginning in order to get all the powers. To get all your movement options, and then therefore to get access to all the side stages. Each run is a little bit more linear than a standard Metroidvania. You move forward, but each stage still has that feeling of a Metroidvania. So hopefully that made some degree of sense. Now that I've gone through the explanation, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. This is a brand new save file. So, I have played the game a little bit, and by a little bit I mean I've played it a lot in the last week. I've got a route that I'm going to try and aim for, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to start off in the prisoner's quarters. By the way, the aesthetics in this game are really neat, and kind of gross on occasion. You start out with this weird little guy. Aren't you the headless fellow that's been getting around? What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Ah yes, that's right, no tongue. So, very specifically, surely you must have noticed. You can no longer die. I don't really understand it. But you're not the first to find yourself in this situation, if that's what you want to know. So, this game has some really cool lore to it as well, which I'll probably get into in some later videos. All we really know is there's some sort of mutation, infection that's spreading. So right off the bat, square, we start out with a sword, and we have to choose between a bow and a shield as our secondary. When I first started the game, I did the bow. By the way, I'm taking time to explain here because if you look over to the right, while you are in certain areas, like the pregame and in shops, the game pauses the timer. My goal is going to be to clear stage 1 in 2 minutes. So once I get going, I may not talk quite as much while I focus. We'll see how it goes. When I first started, I did the bow. It's decent, but it's not super powerful. I've actually found that the shield is actually more to my liking as it's gone. Okay, so right off the bat we see there's teleporters, enemies, you have a roll option, if you use your shield it deflects missiles back, or can parry melee attacks, but if you do that you have to time it perfectly. Missile attacks you can just block and send back. As you go, you're going to unlock more items. During each run you can do this. You can get these power scrolls to unlock more. So you can see there's some stuff we don't have access to yet. I will go into more about that later. Multiple Noxbow. Okay, that might be powerful enough to warrant. Get money. So you can see those little yellow circles, those are teleporters. They let you move back and forth. It's pretty standard stuff. Just got a knife there. Knives are really nice. They give you a ranged attack that also gives bleed. I'm gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna keep focusing on red for now. You can see you get diminishing returns on your HP boosts as you go. And you get boosts to the power of whatever items are that color. So, and despite the fact that that knife is both red and purple, you only get to do the highest one. So we're gonna go red. We're doing this so we can move faster. When you roll through a door, you actually get access to... Oh, okay, there, we can stop a moment. When you roll through a door, it actually will slow down or stun the enemies that are near you. When I was first going through, you saw kind of a green blob on the ground. That was a vine spot. One of the first movement power we're going to unlock is the vine. That lets us access other areas. We also passed a teleporter and a spot where you can ground pound, which I will get to in a moment. Hopefully we can find the correct area here. So we're just looking for the exit. There we go, Promenade. So Promenade of the Condemned is the first area we need to go to. In between each one, so first of all, since we got here in less than 2 minutes, we get to go into the store, we get a bunch of money, we get 20 cells. Cells let us unlock more permanent powers. We also get to choose between one of these two, which I think I'm gonna try, or we're just gonna upgrade our throwing knife. You can see there that's significantly, so double the output for damage and double the bleed damage. We're also going to pick up a blueprint. Blueprints are what you use to unlock more items as you go throughout. We get to meet the collector. Closest thing you'll find to decent company around here. Bring me the cells you gather from others. In exchange, I'll procure little useful items for you. So you can see here now he has the assault shield. You're required to do the health flask first. Health flask is exactly what it sounds like. We're gonna go ahead and do both of these. We get to carry over up to 6,000 gold if we die, and we get a health potion that can be used to, well, refill our health. So right now we have options to buy more health flasks. We can customize our starting equipment so that we get random out of anything in our pool instead of the base gear. As you go further in the game, you can unlock more stuff. And then, of course, at the bottom here, we have the Assault Shield, which is the item we just unlocked. The items that you unlock here. So I just toggled it so we can see what else is available. So we already have these as items that can show up. This is kind of the starting defaults that we get. The rest of this stuff is gonna, and then more stuff like this Assault Shield is gonna unlock as we go. So I think for the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna start off with the Health Flask. The Assault Shield's decent, but it's not my favorite. Then we get to go over here. You have to, by the way, you have to spend all of your cells before you can continue. It's a rule. Mutations. So the ones that I like are not unlocked yet, but we're gonna go ahead and do one that makes the actual regular parts of the game easier for now, which is this. Increased damage for 8 seconds after killing an enemy. Really straightforward, basically lets you progress and keep building up damage as you go. So as long as you keep moving, keep killing stuff, you get to carry over that extra 200 damage, which it's more than double my current damage. So very big damage boost. Plus it's red, which is what we're building currently. The mutations are also colored. They get more powerful depending on what powers you choose. Okay, so the Promenade of the Condemned is the next area. We're gonna find the Vine Rune here. That's the one goal for this run. If I die after that, I don't care. Hopefully we can at least make it to the first boss and get a little bit more to carry over. Our goal for Promenade of the Condemned is going to be to get to the end of the level within 8 minutes. The Ramparts, which are the only area we can access, are pretty much always on the far right side of the level. We'll need the Vine Rune as well, so we will need to dip into the underground areas to find that. We've got 7 minutes. This should be doable. Okay, so as we progress, the enemies are going to get a little harder. They're going to hit a little harder. So right off the bat here, we run into a target dummy. The target dummies are kind of obnoxious. We're gonna go green on this one because it gives a bigger boost. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Spartan Sandals basically let you go, this is Sparta, and kick somebody off a cliff. Killing a few more enemies just to get some additional gold. There's the new enemy. And we're gonna go underground. This is the teleporter. That's gonna be the second movement item we collect. So that won't be, we won't have access to that until our second run. So you can see there these training dummies give protective shields to the other enemies in the map. Much like many other Metroidvanias, there are spikes and other obstacles that get in the way. This is the ground pound. You actually need to get a special item to get through that. So that's that ground pound item is the third one. We won't get that until we go through another couple runs. Balance Blade is an upgraded sword. And you can see now we get to go back up to the top. That's making use of those teleporters. And you can also see how much weaker we are when we don't have a string of kills going from right there. You can see the little one with a sword above it over my head. That's what gives us that access. So we have to go through this door here to get access to the vine power-up. You have to beat a boss. Or an elite enemy. Get some cells and an unknown artifact, which is, of course, the Vine Rune that I've been mentioning. So the Vine Rune lets you make vines. It's really situational and not... It's one of those movement powers that's more of a key than anything else, but there are points, at least in several levels, where it becomes useful. It does unlock items in addition to just progression. We've got plenty of time left, so we may do a little bit of exploration. We're going to do purple to get our... since we didn't have an option for red on that one. That's going to be the biggest HP boost. We're going to do... Okay, we don't have any R2 or L2 items, so trigger items are stuff like grenades and traps. We're paused again, by the way. So rather than go switch over to a upgraded shield, which could actually be really good, we're going to grab one of these because we don't have anything in that slot yet. Wolf Trap lets us immobilize an enemy, so pretty straightforward. And then it has a countdown on how often it is usable again. The throwing knives, you can see a little ammo meter, which is a slightly different way. So certain items have cooldowns, certain items have other options. And if I'm remembering correctly, we should be able to do this and get a power-up. We've got time for it, so I'm not worried. And we get to the Ramparts. Again, lots of fast movement. The second reward here is one I haven't ever gotten. It's kill X number of enemies without dying. I'm really bad at not getting, or at the not dying options. Okay, so we could upgrade our Wolf Trap. We can switch over to Frost Blast. Now, Frost Blast is normally my favorite, but at this point I don't have the stuff to go with it that makes it really good. So I'm actually gonna, Frost Blast also would replace our throwing knife, not be an additional L item. So I'm actually gonna go with the Amulet. Amulets are passive boosts. Reduce projectile damage, reduce overall damage, and when I roll I get to throw a bomb. Simple. Simple boost. I like to at least have a neck item. Okay, so we got the Spartan Sandals. If we do this, it is going to give us the unlock on it. But right now, since I've got 45 cells, I actually want to grab that second health flask right away. If we do this, we're going to unlock the Spartan Sandals and get one right now. However, the Spartan Sandals are not my favorite weapon by a long shot. So I'm not going to take them, so I don't add them to our pool. So I think I'm actually going to start working on recycling. Again, you have to use all your cells before you progress. So recycling is, so when we discard items or have one we don't want to take, that option for recycling gives us money for them. We can convert them to money. Okay, so this is going to reduce... so these ones reduce cooldowns whenever you kill enemies with melee or non-melee weapons, respectively. This one resets cooldowns much more, but you have to successfully parry. This is actually the one I'm going to go with for this run, I think. Well, actually, no, let's go ammo. So that gives us double the throwing knives. It seems like a good choice. This is going to give us the ability to really just pepper in damage as much as we can from distance. Oh, actually, one thing to note quick. You can see there the amulet has a power scroll next to it. While that's equipped, we actually do get an extra dot of the purple. So we are up to 3 purple, which is why the throwing knife and the wolf trap both have the colors shifted slightly, even though we didn't get another power scroll. Okay, Ramparts. We don't have a time goal on this one. After this one, it will take us to a boss, and that boss does have a time restriction of 15 minutes to get the bonus. Oop. Okay, this is going to unlock custom mode for getting here the first time. Again, each section kind of unlocks new stuff as you go. Custom mode lets you mix and match what's available in a given run. You can change your starting equipment, stuff like that. It doesn't work towards achievements when you do that. So those little priest enemies are really nasty. They can shoot through walls at you. Another big treasure chest. How much more damage is that? Really like that weapon, but I don't have any freeze. If I had freeze to go with it, I would be more likely to. I think since we're no, we'll just go with this. Okay, this is gonna take us to an area we can't get to. You need the wall jump to get that. Okay. So we're gonna boost survival just in case we find another one of those freeze weapons. Ice grenade or a... ice grenade or the frost shard, I think it is. The one that I skipped earlier that I said I didn't have the stuff to go with it. This hammer is one of the things that goes with it really well. It does critical damage automatically whenever you are or whenever enemies are stunned. Or frozen. So one of my favorite things to do is just freeze enemies and then hit them with this giant hammer. Most of my favorite strategies involve ice at this point, just from experimentation. By the way, 8 seconds is an extremely long time when you are moving quickly through a level. Referring to that 8 seconds before you have a... before you lose your attack bonus. So you have to kill an enemy every 8 seconds, which is actually not super hard. Frostbite, awesome. That's what I wanted. Frostbite is my favorite power-up. We're gonna go ahead and just push this into green. Frostbite does damage over time when when enemies are slowed. So I could spend a bunch of money on one of these, which actually... Okay, Wolf Trap 5 is a decent boost. I kind of want the Sinew Slicer. Let's do both. Purple's not my go-to right now. However... Sinew Slicer is really good against the boss because it lets us focus on oh, there we go. It lets us focus on movement instead of on By the way, you may notice I'm moving faster. One of the other things that you get access to as you kill enemies quickly is speed boosts. It's actually based on when you get cells, from what I can tell. I haven't actually seen anything that specified how that works, but it seems to correlate there. Okay, so we could theoretically try and go down there, but it looks like from the map we're not going to be able to yet. It looks like it requires that the ground pound, and it looks like Blackbridge is at the very end of this one for once, which is a little odd. Okay, so I definitely did not get that reward. We get access to a couple new things. So Frostbite, like I said, does extra damage to enemies, or does damage over time to enemies when they are slow. It's a mutation, so we can take it here later once it's unlocked. Okay, and I think, you know, I'm really not sure which of these is going to be best going into this boss fight, because we're not going to be killing anything, and we don't have any way to parry. So I think we're just going to go with Necromancy for afterwards. And a refill, and we're going to fight the first boss. By the way, just to be clear, I did not make it this far on my first run by any means. This is after playing quite a while on a separate save file. So we're going to start off with the Sinew Slicer, and we're just going to kind of focus on dodging and get some bleed damage going. The first half of this boss is not super hard. It's once you get into the back end that he gets really hard. I'm gonna just do a potion right there just in case, and then we're going to... There we go. So holding him in place as much as possible goes a very long way. We're gonna grab our blueprint for the flint, which is another neat big overhand weapon. We don't actually need this, but we got recycling, so we can get money out of it. This unlocks time trial mode, which is neat. Challenger's Rune. And multiple knocks bow. This is a very high damage weapon at this point. So I think I'm actually going to switch this out. This will also let us continue moving towards green instead of red. And then we cash out that item. And we have our 15-minute timer. So we have a bunch of runes from that, or a bunch of cells from that, rather. Okay. We could do this, but we're trying to move away from that, so we're going to go ahead and do Sapphire Amulet, which is 2 red, which could be good. Actually, is that better? No, I like the damage from projectiles better. Or prevent damage from projectiles better. So we'll stick with that. Oops. So there's a new thing here. This guy is the blacksmith. When you give him cells, he gives you makes all of the items around, or all of the items available, a higher quality. We're actually not going to go with him right now because I want to keep putting money towards Frostbite. We don't get to get another mutation at this point. You only get 3 mutations total. This refills both our health and our potions, and then we get to go to the Stilt village. This is where where the game really starts to pick up. It's also a really cool design. So this is a fishing village. The beginning of it's all from within the prison. The beginning of the game is all within the prison. At this point... Whoa. So now we've made it out of the prison and we are moving into the castle. Or into the town and then into the castle. Ugh. Yep, we're gonna heal. So that did not go well. I don't have any good status effect powers, which I normally like. As I mentioned, ice and effects that slow and freeze are kind of the way I've been playing for the most part, especially with this item. So in order to progress here, you have to get the village key, which is behind one of 3 doors in a given area. So we can see there that door has a coin on the front. The coin door is a shop. The second door is going to be, or one of the doors is going to be a treasure chest, and one of them has that key icon. The one with the key icon, obviously, is the one with the village key. Ugh. Yeah, having to sit still with the bow is not my favorite thing. Good news is we have a teleporter, so we can get back over here quickly. Oh. This may be the end of our run. Okay, so when you die, you end up getting sent back. So your body is what's being destroyed. Your actual character is this weird little mass of cells that takes possession of a headless body. Hey, we got pretty far. If you notice how things seem to change each time you pass through, yes. Yes, I had. Okay, so once again, we get to choose the bow or the shield. I just realized I probably should have stopped and done this run as a separate video, but this is, it's addictive, and I kind of just space it off. So I think what I'm gonna do is continue to get horribly distracted. That's realistically what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is just get to the end of this first stage here. If I have a good option for it. AKA if I get through it in 2 minutes. Pretty sure this is the wrong one, so we may actually not make it in 2 minutes anyway. Nope, there's toxic sewers. So... we did make our 2-minute mark. You know what? I'm just gonna keep going. What's the worst that could happen, right? Frenzy. Let's go with the cudgel. So this shield will stun enemies when they get blocked, which is neat. This is the blacksmith. So the blacksmith lets us re-roll randomized items and will let us upgrade items, which is neat. And I think we're gonna try the blind faith since we've got a shield. We can always reset later for 1,000 gold. No big deal. Toxic sewers. So this is the second variation on the second stage. Last time we went through the promenade, this time we're going through the sewers. The sewers is going to unlock another item for us. Come here a second. A little slow. You seem to understand what I'm saying. I lost my rune. So you see I'm a little stuck. I need my rune. You wouldn't mind finding it for me, would you? Okay, worth noting here. I didn't get a single support or power scroll in that last run. Or in that first stage, rather, because I was moving so fast at the end. Which means that we are currently sitting at 100 health. And quite possibly going to die very quickly if I'm not careful. That also means we're doing less damage than we would otherwise. Oh boy. Right now, if I could just find the rune, I'll be happy. Because we're going to need to do a separate run for that anyway, and it would actually make me feel better about the whole accidentally starting another run without thinking about it thing. Hey, we actually got a good parry. So yeah, no weapon, no damage upgrades. Or no upgrade weapon, no damage upgrades yet. There we go. Finally got one. We're going to do this so we get the health boost, because that feels really important right now. There we go. We're gonna L1. We used both health potions already, so hopefully we will find what we're looking for soon, or at least some more power scrolls and maybe a shop. It looks like there's a shop down here. That is actually not anything we're looking for right now. Grab that because it's another way to refill health. So what we did there is used the what is it called? Tonic. The tonic is health, and it also is a full yeah, we are in trouble. Yeah. Okay, that's what I get for rushing. So yeah, the tonic gives you a momentary invulnerability as well as a little bit of health back. So I just used that to tank through those hits. Ooh, and really neat here. So you may have seen me jumping over here a few times. This is why. There's a hidden blueprint up there once that terrain changes. Kind of an odd place though, no matter how you look at it. I imagine the sight to behold us when the collector have lit all the flasks up. You're working on it, right? Like all the others. Okay, so all of these flasks up here represent items that we can eventually unlock. So hopefully that just kind of puts into perspective the kind of progression you get out of this game. So this is the beginning of the Dead Cells run. I am planning on going through until I've unlocked all of the basic options. So gotten all the 4 key runes and try and beat the game. It's kind of similar to what I was doing with Hades. Not gonna. After that, I may play it sporadically just to do runs. Maybe play around with custom mode. And there are harder difficulties, but we are not messing with those. Probably on stream until I've gotten much better at the game. So, hopefully you're still enjoying. If you are, please give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, have a good one. We'll catch you next time.